All right, welcome, guys. The reason for this webinar, quick webinar, is for us to discuss the US dollar JPY trade that I'm spotting here. All right, so let's see how this is going to play out. So first of all, I'm gonna take off all the labelings and just go to the daily chart. So there's something that looks interesting on this pair. So the reason why I was calling out for a trade there is not only what I was looking at in the 1 hour chart. You guys will remember the Gatli that I was talking about on the 1 hour, but I just want to show you where that Gatli comes from. So you know, I don't trade only patterns. Patterns must just confirm the method that I am using or confirm some of the rules that I apply onto my trading strategy. So I want you to notice something here on the daily. All right, and just remember this when I go down to the lower time frame. There's a fractal that is actually happening here. I'm just going to get my drawing tool out. Right, make it thick. Right, so there we go. So if you look here, look at this piece here, what happened here. You would notice that this piece made sort of an impulse move to the downside and it was corrected like this. Right, so this is a flat correction. It does not break the top and it ends about the area of wave A. So you will call this A, B, C, and we'll call this a regular flat, right? All right, so look at something again. I'm going to do it with a different color, but look at this one in a higher degree. What if this one impulse here? You see this impulse? And then it makes a correction. Do you see that this larger one is repeating exactly what is happening on the smaller one? And here, again, does not break the extreme of the low, ends at about the area of wave A, B, C. You see that fractal? And it is not the only place where this is happening, right? Let me switch off and clear this. I think you've seen this. Let me clear and show you another fractal right here on this trade. Or rather, let me undo before I do that. Clear. So I should have started with this smaller one so you can see it as well. So I'm gonna go a little bit lower into the 4-hour chart and show you these fractals that keep happening on this pair. Okay, just loading up the 4-hour. Right, now it's much clearer. So the first one that I showed you, again, for clarity, don't mind me repeating, I want it to be clear. Okay, actually, I'm not going to go to the first one. I'm just going to show you the first one after this one. So I showed you this one and that. And then I showed you this one and that. But what you didn't see on the lower time frame is that we also have this one and this correction here. You see here, impulse and then a correction. Okay, with a different color. Another larger one. Undo. Another larger one. Impulse. And then that correction, right? Different color. Larger one now. Né? Do you see how this just keeps repeating itself as it goes larger? Okay, so I'm seeing something else here. And this is not the only place. Look again in this degree. Let me go to green again. These things just need eyes. Look at this impulse here, this green, and then this correction. You see that? So these things keep repeating. So what am I looking at here? I'm looking at this. This will be in the yellow degree. This is where we are now with US dollar JPY. So we've had this impulse. This thing, we traded this during the NFP and then it kept going up. So what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating that this will do this. Okay, I don't know if it will break the extreme of this impulse and if it will end at about the area of A, B, C, right? Do you see that? So this is the fractal I am expecting here. And it's not only the pattern that I was looking at. So we're gonna go down into the lower time frame just to look at that pattern. And this keeps happening a number of times as well. Okay, so let's go down lower. Let's go down lower to look at that pattern. So you can see that that pattern is starting to form around this area. So this is where we are. We had that impulse here. This is the impulse. Let's draw it properly. This is the impulse, and then the correction is forming here. Okay, and then we're expecting this. And I do not know if, let's get that blue. So I was talking about the magic blue line just now, right? So the magic blue line, so this is the extreme of the impulse. This blue line is at the extreme of this impulse. So when I switch it off, it takes everything off. So just remember that the magic blue line is here. What do we anticipate? There are two things that could happen with this pair. And we just need to watch it to see what it does, what the price action does. So it can either reverse here, right, and give us that correction, or it can tag. Okay, let's do this. So let's say this is our blue line here, which is the extreme of the low. What usually happens with these patterns is that they would either tag this, and those who trade price action and trend lines will say, okay, this is the main demand or demand zone. So that has now been broken to the downside, and people will be selling to the downside. And as soon as you sell, then this thing reverse just to complete this pattern. So that is why it is important to trade patterns than it is to trade these supports and resistances. So this is what I'm anticipating here. So let's go down and look at that pattern. So this is that pattern that we're looking at here. And it is only just to complete that. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the 1 hour time frame just to indicate it. So you see that is that whole impulse now on the 1 hour time frame. And now we had this move up, and then we had this correction. You can see that this is a correction. Okay, so after the correction, we're anticipating that this move will come and do this. So pattern traders will say, because this is your X, A, B, C, D. If you're trading a Gartley, right? So pattern traders will tell you that if the X is broken, then it means the pattern is invalidated. Yes, it will be invalidated, and they will leave the trade because now they don't have a pattern anymore. All right? So now we don't leave the trade because we know what is happening. It is just needs to break it and then go up. So after going up, we'll have, let's just draw this one clearly now. So after this, if this actually does go up, we're going to have something like this, and then we're going to have a complete pattern like that. Okay, that is the complete pattern. And then the move down on US dollar JPY continues. We're on the downtrend, but we're having this correction here. So this move down may still continue. Remember, the overall target on this one is still 104. So this is how we're going to be looking at it. So now what we just need to do, we just need to monitor price action, you see if there's a reversal. So the MACD on the 1 hour is not really showing anything, but on the 4 hour, if you go to the 4 hour again, just to look at the MACD indicator to see the strength of the trend. Okay. Look at the MACD on the 4 hour chart. Right, so obviously this is not completed here yet. We don't know how far it's going to go, but look at the MACD. The MACD, even though we know that this peak is not completed yet, but the MACD is quite high here, which is showing us signs of strength on this pair. So that's why we're anticipating that we will have a reversal and then we're going to come down. Okay, obviously not this high. So this is another blue line here. It can come and tag this one, and then go. Okay, cool. Right. So let's discuss also GBP JPY as well. See what's happening with that one. Let's clear everything and go GBP JPY. So we do not just rush into selling, and we don't just buy because the price is going up. Excuse me, my phone is ringing. Right, sorted. So we don't just buy because the price is going down, or we don't sell because the price is going down, or buy because the price is going up. We need to have a setup. We need to have rules that are confirmed that we are now going up. Okay, it's okay. I will leave a chart or a pair going up or down without being in it if it does not satisfy my rule, because what's the point of just going in without having any confirmations? You're just going to lose money. Yes, you can be lucky with some time, and obviously when you are not so lucky, your account gets wiped out. Okay, GBP JPY. Okay, so GBP JPY, if I just put on back the labelings here. So I said yesterday that if this crosses the 1,618, we will invalidate this blue box. And we can see now it has just crossed the 1,618. Okay, but what is happening with the divergence? And this is the one our chart. The divergence, let's just look at the divergence. The divergence is still on the upside. Let's just undo and draw it properly. The strength is still there. Obviously, this is not completed yet. We don't know how far it's going to go. But if you look at this, there's possibly another pattern that is starting to develop here, which you can draw it like that. That is another Gatli. All right, and then this should end around the 7.8. So we just need to check where the 7.86 is. So I'm going to delete the blue box. It has been invalidated in this case. And you can clearly see the reason why it is invalidated. So this is why it is important to have a clear set of rules. So we have rules that tell us when a pattern is valid and when it is not. So here I'm just going to draw the fib to confirm the anticipated, the possible reversal point on this pair. So we're currently on the 7.8. This is the 38 area, so this is a bet. So a bet reverses around the 88% area in anticipation of the continuation of that move. Okay, so this is the latest one on GBP JPY. So let's see what happens when it gets around the 139.77 area. So you can see that this pound yen and US dollar yen, we are anticipating reversals, a bit of strength on the MACD. Okay, so even if this is going down, guys, I mean, you know, I trade swing, so, and the rule is, okay, not necessarily the rule, the rationale is always to buy low and sell high. I mean, if I'm selling here so low, it does not make sense. I mean, this swing has already moved almost 90% of what I was anticipating. And for me to come and sell it here because it's going down doesn't really make sense. Unless I've got a setup that is telling me that it's going to go significantly lower than where it is now. And at the moment, I don't have that kind of setup. So let's look what happens in this area. So this could happen at the same time between the UJ and GJ. So let's watch this area, and this 88.6 at 139.770. Okay. And then I'll look at, I'm just going to clean this up. I will post this one to the group as it is as well. All right, just remove. All right, leave the pattern as it is. All right, so let's look at GA, last one we're going to look at now. So this is a good example why you do not just buy because it's going up. So if you remember yesterday, This has confirmed this was at the Gartley area here. And I said, okay, it is there, but we do not have confirmation that it is going up. Look what is happening. Currently reversing. What could possibly happen here is it can come here, could come here, give us a double bottom, and then go. Okay, so for now we just need to watch price action and see what happens. Let's look at the divergence as well. If there's any divergence, strength of the trend, let's look what is happening. The strength of the trend is still intact. You can see, since I drew it yesterday, that line is still intact. The trend is still to the upside on the hourly chart. So I'm convinced that sooner or later, actually sooner rather than later, we should be getting a reversal soon. Okay, so what I look for to confirm a reversal is this. So I want something like this. I want this to give me a strong, a defined impulsive move to the upside, and then a correction. Okay, after this correction, then I am more sure that this is now ready to go up. And then I can buy it here. Those that don't have screen time can put in orders here for buys, buy stop orders here. So that's what we're looking at. So you see, even though it had gone up 130 pips yesterday, I'm not targeting 130 pips. I do not have any setup confirming for me to buy this pair. So that's why it's important to stick to the rules. This was about 130 pips up or 140 pips up this morning since the reversal here. But it has now retraced over 60% of yesterday's move. So we keep watching, and when it plays out, it will play out really good. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Let's keep an eye. Do call it out when you see confirmations on the group. All right, let me just check if there's any comments. You can just write it up now quickly on the chat box before I log off. So I don't want this video to be too long as well, so that it doesn't chow a lot of your data as well. Any comments on the chat box? Otherwise, if there's nothing, thank you guys. Cheers. Bye-bye. We'll talk on the group.